Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys. You both came to work. How we doing?
Somewhere, Michael Jordan is chuckling at your man, LeBron James. And all I hope is you don't leave this show early after you get blown out in today's game between us.
Has Michael Jordan ever lost a playoff series?
No.
So why is he chuckling?
He never lost.
Shannon, I might have to leave early, too.
Yeah,
so are you cool with that?
Feel
if I'm
free.
done with the day, let's talk about that departure and what did not happen for LeBron and the Lakers. They were without Anthony Davis last night, and LeBron, he couldn't keep LA in the game. Just didn't happen. The Suns would end up routing the Lakers, going up by 30 at halftime and holding on to win 115-85. LeBron finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in the loss. And LeBron only had 11 points from his other starters, but he also finished with a game worst plus-minus of minus 24. Shannon, what % of the blame does LeBron deserve for the Lakers? And it wasn't just a loss, a blowout loss here.
Skip, I'm a Romanian judge here. I'm going to give him 8.75. 8.75% of the blame.
That's all?
Out of 10.
Oh, out of 10.
That's what you said, right?
Oh, so you got to multiply it by to get it up to like 100%. So you're like 87%? Are you really?
Hold on. I thought you said that on a scale of 1 to 10. You wanted me to give him a grade. You don't want me to give him a grade. But Skip, look. LeBron is the ringleader. He gets the lion's share of the credit when things go well. So it's only fair that I give him lion's share of the blame when things go bad. And he didn't get out to the greatest of starts, and no one got out to the greatest of starts, Skip. And for what the ball just won't go in right now. And it was good to see Skip, and I know the game was already decided, but it looks like he found a little stroke in the third quarter. He got 17 points in the third. So maybe that's something that can carry on. But Skip, when you get 11 points from your other starters, it's gonna be a sad night. And I'm trying to watch both games. I'm watching the Lakers game on one TV. I'm watching the Nuggets Portland game on the other TV. And Skip, I get midway through the second quarter, and they got like 2 points. And then I got like 3 minutes left in the quarter, and they got like 6 points. I said, you know what? It's time for me to put my emphasis on the other. They're not coming back from this. They didn't play well, Skip. I mean, Schroeder plays 26 minutes and gives you 0 points. KCP, Skip, remember I told you, I said, yeah, I understand he's coming back, but you can tell, Skip, he's not the same player.
Yeah.
Keith Morris, 4 points. Even Skip, I don't really know what they expect. Drum gave you 13 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. And the little bit that he played, Skip, he played with. Now, can we come to the conclusion Gasol ain't the answer? I think we can agree to that, Skip. I think probably you in my corner now said, you know what? Drum's a better player. But Skip, they got to do better than this. I mean, what they were 3 for 20 and 3 for 15 in the first half for 3-point shots. They made 9 in the second half, but the game was decided. The game was decided early on. They let Book get off to that great start. And then, look, Jay Crowder hit a couple of shots. Bridges hit some shots. But this game was decided. So I'm going to put the lion's share of the blame on LeBron because I expected him to come out. But, he can only do so much. He can't make the shot for the guys. But his shot wasn't going early. I thought he settled too much for the 3-ball. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, Skip. You see the first one go ahead and keep it.
If he makes the first one, sometimes it's the worst thing that can happen to him.
Hey, Keith, he got off. He hit his first 3. I was like, okay, we might be on to something. And then I think we made one more of the 13 that we attempted. So I'm going to give LeBron, I think rightfully so, Skip. I think the lion's share of the blame should be placed at his feet. But I can assure you one thing, you won't see a repeat performance like this on Thursday.
Really?
I bet you that.
Really?
Yes, really. And I want 3 Ks to do on it right now.
Before we get there, and we will get there, let's look back at last night first, because first is first.
That's a nightmare.
It was a nightmare. So, I want to first thank you, and I want to publicly appreciate you for being as objective about your man LeBron James as I have ever heard you in the history of Undisputed, the almost 5-year history of Undisputed. You have never been so scathingly, openly, critically objective about your man LeBron James as you were last night, because I was prepared for the onslaught here. I thought I would hear that Schroeder was 0 for 9 last night, which he was.
He was.
I thought I would hear that KC3 barely came back for, 15 minutes and limped back to the bench, still suffering his left knee. I think it's a contusion, but he's got soreness in his left knee, and he took one shot in the game and missed it. I thought I would hear that Caruso was 2 for 8. I thought we'd go down to Wesley Matthews was 1 for 5, and nobody did nothing.
No, not it.
The Lakers were pathetic. But the point is, your man, the quote-unquote GOAT, was even worse.
Right.
I went 75% of the blame. You're actually saying it's higher than that. I told you yesterday, I thought this was a golden moment for him, a national TV opportunity to make a late career GOAT case. If he came out in Phoenix against Chris Paul back, we thought 100%. I know he got dinged again and had another boltish pain down his right arm. I don't know his status going forward. He did shoot the 2 free throws thereafter and made both of them. I'm going to guess he's going to play.
Oh, yeah, he's going to play. Now, how effective he'll be. Because he didn't look as good last night as he did on Sunday, Skip. Okay,
but the point was we thought he was sort of back to normal going into last night. We know that that team was 51-21 in the regular season, and we know that there was no Anthony Davis. He was only cheerleading, and we saw him before the game try to go a little side to side, and he just really couldn't go side to side.
No, he doesn't.
So what are the odds he's going to play Thursday?
None. 0 odds.
I will guess this. If it does get to Game 7, I'm going to guess he'll try to play in Game 7, and I'm also going to guess that he's going to be very limited in Game 7, and he will risk pulling it worse if he tries to play in Game 7. Now back to your man, LeBron. Last night was his night, his turn, his opportunity to set the table for his team, to be the early tone setter, to take over the game right out of the box, because I still say Jay Crowder cannot guard him. I still say Jay Crowder and even Bridges are afraid of him. I still say he can be, when he decides to be, the best driver of the basketball in the game, the best I've ever seen, and he remains the best passer in basketball. Yet last night was a scoring night, and I told you yesterday, I need to see him marching to the free throw line. I need to see, I said 20, and I finally amended it to 17 free throw attempts last night.
So what are we going to do with 0?
Okay, he was 0. He was 0. LeBron James shot 0 free throws for only the 3rd time in his whole career. He shot 0 free throws.
So career or playoff career?
I'm sorry, playoff career.
So that's 262 games still.
Yeah. There were 2 other games. 2007 against Detroit. Remember when he finally had the 48-point in Game 6 to get them over the hump into the finals against the Spurs. In Game 1, he shot 0 free throws. And then 2013 against my Spurs in the first game back in San Antonio, Game 3, he shot 0. They lost that game by 36. So the point is, only for the 3rd time, he never went to the free throw line. I'm in shell shock over that. I thought this was his night to put his head down the way Kawhi and Paul George are just putting their head down in Dallas and saying, no, you can't keep us from the rim. Because I still think, and like DeAndre Ayton was not a huge presence last night. You can argue that Drummond outplayed him, right? Look at Ayton. What did he have? 7 and
8 and 7.
8 and 7. Okay. So here we go. Out of the box, to your point, LeBron whips it right out of the, they won the tip. He whips it to Markieff, and he steps right into a 3 and makes it, and it's 3-0. And then they go down and miss. Bridges missed, and the Lakers come right back down, and LeBron cuts back door on Crowder, and KCP hits him for a little reverse layup, if we could see this. And it's sweet. Thank you. It wasn't Crowder's Booker. He got a switch. So now, all of a sudden, you're up 5-0. And then you come right back down again after a Booker miss, and he drains the 3. And it's...
I'm feeling good, Skip. I'm feeling good.
Okay, it's 8-3, and I'm thinking, wait a second. That's who I thought we would see. And both of us predicted lines of like 30-something. I had 15 rebounds and 10 assists, and we both had triple-double. And I thought, you just launched right into your triple-double. And from that moment on, LeBron James at 8-3, that's 10-16 left in the first quarter. For the rest of the half, he went 1 of 8, 0 of 2 from 3, and obviously no free throws. And he scored a grand total of 2 points. They end up giving up a 21-2 run to start the second quarter, which is just impossibly bad. And they lose the first half by 30 points. That's incomprehensible to me that a LeBron James-led team could do that. So if we could see what started happening, he did try to drive the ball occasionally. And if we could see, he tried 3 more drives. I think one was in the first quarter and the next 2 were in the second quarter. Let's see what was happening when he did decide to drive the basketball. Oh, these are the turnovers first. These are turnovers. Okay, that's when they had a chance to really go hard at him. But these are the turnovers. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's to Keefe, and he just threw it out of bounds. And then this one, I don't know what that was. Now we got the misses coming. Okay, these are the drive misses. A wild shot that barely ticked iron. That's first quarter. Then he drives again. That was, I thought, a foul, and they gave Torrey Craig a block on that.
Yeah, I thought
but
so
he's
too.
getting no respect from the refs. And then he tries that. He's kind of off-footed. He's kind of out of rhythm. And he throws it up and gets nothing but glass.
Right.
Those are his 3 drive shots in the first half, and that was it for the game as far as driving the basketball. Well, that's not LeBron James. And I got to tell you, for the first time ever, I kidded you about this yesterday. I said this is going to be a measuring stick late in the career. That was the first time in my time, all my years of watching LeBron, where I thought, maybe Grant Hill is right, because he said, I know you don't listen to the sound, but he suggested mid-second quarter, Father Time is tapping LeBron on the shoulder. Well, that was the first night. I got to be honest with you, and I don't want this to happen because I love watching LeBron. I don't miss 1 second of any game.
Right.
But that was the first time I sat back and said, is he starting to hit the wall? Is he starting to get old right before your very eyes? Because he didn't look right the whole night after that early salvo.
Right.
He looked a little overwhelmed by it. The responsibility of trying to take the game over without Anthony Davis. He looked like he was a little unplugged. He was without passion. He was without urgency. And I thought, well, maybe he's just starting to feel his age where he's thinking, I just can't do this anymore at the level that I'm required to do this.
Well, I think that may be some truth to that. I'm not ready to quite write him off just yet, Skip, but I think the thing is it becomes, with anything, if you do it, and all of a sudden, Skip, I'm making great passes, and there's no payoff at the end of it.
I got that.
You kind of get frustrated. You're like, well, damn, what else do I have to do?
But I still say they go as he was going to go. Like if he showed them early, I'm on fire. I got fire in my eyes. Well, I think maybe they follow suit.
I think the thing is with him, it's a fine line, Skip, because he's like, if I go, they're just going to stand around and watch. I really need to try to get them involved, and then I can come along with them.
Okay.
Well, in the process of them trying to get them to go, Skip, I'm getting out of rhythm because I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing around and you guys are turning the ball over. And you showed those plays. That happened like on 3 straight possessions in which he turned the ball over.
He did.
And so
and that's just uninspired.
Right.
Like it's a huge game because now you're in such a hole. Obviously, you have to go beat that team twice.
Right.
At home, you got a chance. You're a 3-point favorite, so I give you that one. But, man, can you go back there and win Game 7 after what you saw? If there's no AD in Game 7, can you go turn that? Can you flip that script that you just saw?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
You remember the Memorial Day Massacre when Boston beat the brakes off L.A. and everybody said it's over.
Yep.
The series is over. Mm-hmm. And a funny thing happened.
Okay.
It wasn't over.
Okay, but nobody on the Lakers was hurt, right? Magic still had.
You got a good point. Kareem.
Well, he still had Kareem and Worthy and Byron, and I was at that series. In fact, I talked to Byron Scott in the weight room at the downtown Marriott after Game 1. He's like, well, we're going to be fine because it was just the first game.
Right.
Well, this was the 5th game.
And, normally the 5th game is the telltale game because now your job is harder. You got to win 2 games. I just got to win 1.
Okay, so then we get all the way down to the 5:40 mark of the 4th quarter. And I got to tell you, I just don't love this, but I'm old school. You're old school, too. And I'm curious what you thought. All of a sudden, LeBron says, I've seen enough. I'm checking it out. I'm going into the locker room.
What is he got a head start on treatment?
Yeah, Vogel defended it. He said he's got to start his treatment early. No, he doesn't. He just couldn't take it anymore. He did not want to associate with that mess that was out on the floor and on the bench. Like, I'm better than this. I can't take it anymore. The shame is too great. I'm just going inside.
Right. It's definitely not a good look, Skip. It's definitely not a good look. He'd probably go in if you're going to put ice, just having to bring ice.
Well, you can put ice on it.
On your knees. Yeah. And obviously, Skip, you don't want to put your feet in the ice bucket because somebody run out of bounds and then
maybe.
I get all that. But you can put ice bags on your knees. It's not a good look, Skip. If you waited that long, because you didn't start the fourth quarter. So if that's the case, Skip, just go on in at the end of the third quarter.
Okay.
But when you're losing as bad as you're losing, and Skip, they're still going to say something because they're like, hold on, if you were up by 36, you wouldn't do this.
No.
So why would you do it when you're down? So, and I get it. You're right. I'm old school. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and sit there and take my punishment like a man because when we win it, I want you to sit across and watch me celebrate. And Phoenix had it going. The crowd was into it. Everybody was doing their job last night. But for whatever reason, Skip, it didn't, after he hit those shots, it just went downhill from there, and I don't know why. I'm racking my brain trying to think, and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, well, what's going on? Can't anybody? And it's just an avalanche because once shots wouldn't go in, it's like everybody lost it.
And then all of a sudden, he became strangely disengaged. And those turnover passes, they weren't like high-risk passes where you're trying to force something that isn't quite there, but you almost pull off a great pass. They were careless passes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're just like, I'm nonchalant. I don't really care that much about this one. I don't know. Maybe he's setting us up for the big thrill. Maybe, well, you could certainly argue, it better.
You know what's coming.
Well, now it's got to come twice.
That's okay.
What did he post? The storm is coming?
Yep.
Well, it better thunder and lightning on Thursday night, and then they have to turn right around and play Saturday. I think it's at night. I don't even think so.
I'm trying to figure out how the Clippers get these kind of breaks, and we ain't getting no break.
Well, I think it's Luka's getting the breaks, right? Because we know he's, quote-unquote, hurt. He got 3 days off, right?
Yeah.
To heal his, quote-unquote, neck injury, right?
Yeah, Skip, you know what? Normally, the Lakers, I normally take it pretty hard. I can't sleep. I'm restless. But I slept well last night because I resigned to the fact after, midway through the second quarter that this was over. And there was no, we can make a comeback. It wasn't like Skip, it wasn't like Sunday's game was tough because we were right there. This was like we were really never in it.
Well, you were for 4 minutes. You were ahead 8-3.
Yeah,
and exactly. I thought you had it going.
And even in the end of the first, Skip, we got back. We made a ball game of it. What was 27 to? I think we were only down a handful of points. And I'm like, okay, I like where we are. LeBron's going to come back, start the second. We'll get a fresh lineup in there. We'll be good to go. And I'm like,
21-2 to open the second quarter.
Is anybody going to score?
Nope. Your Lakers scored 10 points in the second quarter. That's impossibly bad.
Remember, they scored 15. What was it, game one? They scored 15? In the third quarter or something, Skip.
I'm starting to think that AD, at this stage and age of his career versus LeBron's, that he's more valuable than LeBron is. I'm starting to think that.
You be starting to think wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 more chances to prove it, but you had your biggest, easiest chance was last night.
We don't like it easy.
You don't.
Because you just say, you caught them by surprise. We want the pressure to be on us.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some more pressure because my last takeaway from last night was I did not think Phoenix played that great last night. I think Phoenix can play considerably better than they did last night. If you look hard at this box score, okay, look at the three-point shooting. Phoenix shot 33%. So it wasn't like what my Spurs did to LeBron in 2014 finals when they shot him off the floor by a record finals margin from the three-point line. They shot 33%. Devin Booker actually made 2 out of 6, which for him is extraordinary because he's not a three-point shooter.
They let him get going early. Okay. But his mid-range was spot on last night.
Okay, but look at the rebounds. Who won the boards?
Oh, we won the boards.
Well, what's the Pat Riley expression? No rebounds, no rings. Well, you got the rebounds. You won 51-47. And Big Penguin, you can argue, outplayed 8.
He did.
Right?
Yeah. Okay,
and then we look at turnovers. It's the only place where they got you. You had 16, which is not horrible.
They had 4.
They had only 4. So that's how they beat you. They had only 4 turnovers.
Yes.
Right?
And we've been a high turnover. And you look at the games that we've lost in this series, they've been high turnovers. You can't, Skip, you can't turn the ball over and not score.
Yep.
And that's what aided it. You that long stretch when they go 21-2. What do? Turnover. They go bucket. And the game gets out of hand. So you're going to have to take better care of the football, better care of the basketball in situations like this.
But finally, did they free throw you out of the gym last night?
We just shot the same amount.
Same amount?
Same
made the same amount. 15 or 21. So it wasn't the three-point shot. No. It wasn't the free throws. You can argue it was somewhat the turnovers.
Yeah.
But in the end, they made 56% of their two-point shots, and you made 35%.
Right. And
that's how you got blown out.
But, Skip, if you think about it early, although their three-point percentage wasn't good, but if you look at it when it mattered in the first half, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, they couldn't miss. Devin Booker hit.
And Cameron Payne came in and made some big shots.
They got Cameron Payne out there looking like Mike Conley.
Well, like I say, I don't think they missed CP3 that much.
No.
In fact, he might even... Campaign might even be a little bit of an upgrade over CP3 as an offensive threat the way he's hurt right now.
Well, he can score.
Yeah.
He can get to... I mean, he's getting to the basket against anybody he wants to.
Yeah.
Schroeder, he getting to Caruso. It doesn't matter who they put on it.
He's fearless.
Yes.
He's not afraid of this stage.
No. He hitting big shots, big threes, laying the ball. Like I said, Skip, he's playing like Mike Conley. And I'm like, come on. But tomorrow's a new day.
Well, the pressure just went through the Staples roof on this one.
Well,
and there's a team in the basement that is still waiting.
Man, nobody care about that team in the basement.
They're waiting to play the team upstairs, but the team upstairs has pressure going through the roof on it right now, and I don't think they can live up to this kind of pressure.
You see, I'm in my morning. I had to change my shirt. I had just a plain white shirt, but I'd have really been in morning. Yeah, you see how dark my suit is, man. You know I don't wear no suits like this.
So, well, you sound like you're giving up.
I ain't giving up nothing.
You talk a good game, but you're not actually playing.
No, Skip. Like I said, I already done shoved 3 cases of dew.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that in just a moment here.
You know we're going to win. You know we're going to win Thursday, tomorrow, right? You know that, Skip, right?
From you, Shannon. I feel like it's a sad vibe over there.
It's
really sad.
It's a temporary setback.
Yeah.
Temporary setback for a tremendous comeback.
No mercy. We got to talk about this. Damian Lillard put on an all-time performance last night in double overtime in a loss against the Nuggets. Lillard forced both overtimes with three-pointers and finished the game with a playoff record 12 made threes. He is also the first player to ever have 55 points and 10 assists in a playoff game. Those numbers. Shannon, what is your biggest takeaway from Dame's performance?
Skip, this is one of the most impressive performances, and I go back to watching basketball a long time. This is one of the greatest playoff performances, shooting the basketball as you'll ever see. Skip, and I know Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time, but if you tell me, well, Shannon, somebody else is taking Steph Curry, you got Dame Lillard. Okay, I'm not crying. I'm not disappointed. Because this kid can flat out shoot the basketball, Skip. And I'm not talking about no little corner threes. Skip, did you see where he was pulling up from to tie the game, to get it to overtime, to send it to double overtime? He's pulling up from 30. That's a shot, Skip. That's a mid-range shot. That's a DeMar DeRozan, a Booker mid-range shot. The way he's shooting this, dude is 12 of 17. If he'd have got anything, Skip, he drops 9 in the third, another 11 in the fourth, 17 in double overtime. If he'd have had any teammate, give him anything, he scored 17 of the 19 points in double overtime. Skip, if CJ gives him anything, if Melo, if anybody, if Nurkic fouled out, hell, damn near fouled out half the squad. If they'd have gave him anything, they win this ball game. I've never seen anything like it. Skip, if I'm not mistaken, Denver was up like 8 or 9 in the first overtime. I was like, that's a wrap. And Dame said, no, hell, it's not.
That is true.
Boom, boom. Skip, 12 of 17 from...
for that matter, Denver was up 22 in the second quarter.
I think that's what saved Denver. They got up to that big lead, and Dame couldn't get his normal rest because he had to keep them in the game. He got hot in the second, and he had to play more minutes.
Maybe.
He wore down at the end, but he still made great passes. Covington missed a dunk. A couple of guys missed some easy baskets. But this is a greater performance. It's the 5th most points in playoff history, the 3rd most in the loss. MJ 63. Donovan Mitchell just dropped 57 against this same Nuggets team last year.
He did.
And here come Dame, comes back with 55. Skip, this is unbelievable. His teammates scored 2 points on 1 of 14 shooting in the 2 overtime, Skip. If he gets anything, they win this game comfortably. If he gets anything, they win this game and double it. First of all, I'm not so sure it even goes to a second overtime. But Skip, Dame Lillard, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. The guy's is clutch. He's Skip, they should call him Yoko Ono because he broke up OKC like she did the Beatles. That's what got Paul George up out of there. You remember he put that step back jump in Paul George's eye? And Paul George came right out. That's a bad shot. That's a bad... No, it's not. I've seen him hit it.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you. You cannot compare breaking up the Beatles to breaking up the Oklahoma City Thunder of Russell Westbrook and Paul George. You cannot do it. That is blasphemy. I call you on that.
Okay.
I get the analogy, but it's just over the top wrong. Okay, go ahead.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles is his favorite group. So, you know, he take a little personal when you talk about that.
They're everybody's favorite group. Yes, they are. Trust me.
Yeah, when you talk about the dude scored 30 of the last, he scored assisted 37 of the 42 points they scored the last.
He did. That's extraordinary.
Skip, I don't know what this is.
Basically unheard of.
The only that I don't know what else to say, Skip. He's clutch. He's big time clutch. And like I said, Skip, he what you gonna say? 6 foot, 6'1" maybe?
No, I think he's bigger than. I think he's a good 6'2".
You think he's a good 6'2"?
I do. And stout, strong, and can rise.
The guy that can shoot the ball, Skip. We're gonna talk about him a little later, where he ranks on it in clutchness and his place.
We are gonna do that.
Man, what I saw last night, Skip. I don't know if you'll see. Maybe Steph Curry is the only guy in the history that could shoot the ball like this kid.
Okay. He's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
I got it. To you, he is.
Yeah.
I got it. To the Beatles, he's a kid, right? Okay. I think I'm ready to call it the greatest distance shooting clutch performance I've ever seen in a playoff game.
Yes.
Now, it's a first-round playoff game.
Right.
He has not played in a finals, played in one conference finals.
Right.
So I can't go to all-time
right.
because it's not on the biggest stage in the biggest moments. But Reggie Miller had some huge games. He just didn't shoot it as far out as Dame does.
Right.
Reggie would shoot threes, but he shot a lot of twos.
Right.
And he was a deadly shooter. And you remember what he did at the Garden to Spike Lee's Knicks.
And the thing is, Skip, with him, with the difference between Dame and Reggie is that you could run Reggie off the three-point line. You can't run Dame because he'll side. You run at him, he'll step to the side. He'll step to the side and still.
And he has so much range because he can actually rise and hold it. And he's strong enough to still get it there at the apex of his leap, which Reggie couldn't do.
No.
Reggie wasn't he wasn't as athletic as Damian is. And Reggie couldn't. Reggie needed the picks. He needed to run through 17 picks before he could get over.
Dame, you saw last night in the overtime and double overtime, Dame said, get the hell out of here. I don't want to see. Get back. You're crowding me.
Okay. So at the end of regulation, there was a play in which Austin Rivers fouled Dame. And it wasn't, they called it a 3-shot foul. And so he was going to have to go to the line to make 3 to tie.
Right.
Could he have made all 3? Probably he could have.
I trust him, yeah.
As it turned out, you would have been better off not challenging and let him go shoot the 3 because the 3 free throws, I mean, because he comes right back because they do side out of bounds. They amended it to, he got him with the body before he was in the shooting.
But that ain't what y'all call. Y'all call it the shooting.
They did. So they said, well, we'll kind of meet you halfway on this. We'll compromise. We'll just do side out of bounds.
Right.
And here he comes again. So now we get this shot. And now we get Michael Porter Jr. And I'm saying, first of all, you have to go foul him. And I don't know what Mike Malone is thinking because you have 2 instances at the end of regulation and overtime. Just go foul him because you send him to the free throw line.
Skip, I think
it's a 2-shot
Skip,
foul.
I think the thing is you're scared because the moment he sees you about to grab him, he's going to launch it. And I think I heard Mike Malone says, if he's below, if he has his back to us, I tell him to go wrap him up. Or if he's below the 3-point line, we can get him. But Skip, when he's facing you up, you better not.
It just depends how hard you want to attack him. And if you can do it with savvy and shrewd operator, where you can jump on him as the ball touches his hands. If you just, you basically tackle him before he can even turn to you.
Or blitz him, Skip.
Yeah.
Anybody else. CJ, you're going to make that.
You can do that.
You're going to make that shot. Carmelo, you're going to make that shot. Dame Lillard, I'm sorry. You're not getting that shot.
So on that one, at the end of regulation, Michael Porter is actually playing him to drive. Like he's backed off him, like, I'm on skates.
No.
Come on. What's Michael Porter? Is he 6'10"?
6'10".
I think he's
easy
6'10".
6'10".
just go try to smother him. Just get up and try to overwhelm him with your length. Try to make it impossible for him to even get the shot off, because doesn't he have to shoot a three?
Yeah, and Skip, the thing is, the mistake that they're making is that they need to play him on his right hand, because if you watch him, he's taking the hop, and he's going to get to his right hand. So you might need to play him on his right hand and make him go away from his dominant hand. Okay. But everybody keeps playing him to his left.
Okay. So Michael Porter makes a nice leap after it's a little too late, but he got a hand up on it. And Dame made a great shot. And it looked like he shot it with conviction, like he knew it was in when it left his hand.
Dame didn't see him.
Nope, he didn't see him. And that's the only way you're going to make that shot, is you cannot see that.
He's looking at the basket. He's like, oh, yeah, I don't even see you, bro.
So now we get to the end of the first overtime.
Right.
And here we go again. And again, I'm going to try to foul. I know it's a little dicey and dangerous, but I'm still... The rules are going to allow me to stop you from doing that. Or to your point, maybe I'm going to blitz him. Maybe I'm going to say, you can't do that to me again.
Yes, that's what I would do.
But here's what happened if we could see the second one, because as he goes up, I think it's Monty Morris. And the point was, he gets fouled.
He got fouled on this one.
Yeah, that's a foul. He slapped his hand, and look at Dame. He's doing... Okay, that was a
foul.
He got slapped.
He did.
He got slapped. So the truth was, the only reason that this performance got marred was by the bottom line. They lost.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, Dame, if he'd won the game with that shot and an and one off a three,
he should have.
How special would that have been?
Well,
would that not cap it off?
I'm going to have to stop you on this one, because you keep telling me the number one Jordan. We praise that. That's a Pantheon game. Jordan lost. He did lose that 63-point performance. He lost in overtime.
Okay, but remember, he broke his foot. No. He came back for the last 3 or 4 games and said, I'm going to play.
Yeah, but
I'm going to play game 1 against the Boston Celtics. We're the 8th seed, and they were terrible. They were a sub-500 team going to Boston Garden against one of the all-time, I'd say it's a top 5 all-time.
That was the second game. I think that was the second game.
Well, what was it, 63? I thought it was the first game.
I think it was the second.
Whatever.
Didn't he drop like 40? He dropped like 40 in the first one.
I thought 63 was the very first one.
I think it was the second
one.
You might be right.
Well, all Larry Bird said was that was God disguised as Michael Jordan. So
my point, Skip, is sometimes, look, we can't say Dame lost, and then so we're going to take something away from it while holding Michael's game as a holy grail game, because we did that with Book. Book scored 70 and say we lost. But there have been other great historic performances in which players have lost that we still revere. Okay,
but I just called it the greatest distance clutch shooting performance I've ever seen. Distance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But Skip, I mean, he got nothing. I mean, CJ was the only starter that had a minus rating. If he gets, like I said, Skip, I mean, CJ struggled. And then he passed it to him and he stepped. CJ was way out of bounds with that, Skip. That wasn't even close.
Okay. So at the end, it gets marred by the fact that, as you pointed out, first Covington, if we'd see this, he just misses a flat-out dunk. I don't know if the stage is too big.
Maybe his legs are blowed.
Maybe. I mean, but you gotta, I know Yo got in his way a little bit, but you just got to close that deal. And then CJ just steps back and steps out of bounds. And you're going to set up a 3 to tie again.
Sean Wright, that's your call, too.
Yeah.
That the official in the back, Sean Wright, I know him.
He got it. He got it right.
That was the free on the front official to make the call.
All right. But those 2 plays at the end of the game, it mars this effort, right?
And Skip, they let Dame down. Covington and CJ let Dame down.
Yeah.
Because what could have been, especially Covington, Skip, you can't blow it. I get it. You know, guys are close to the sideline. We see guys step. Now, they don't normally step that far about like CJ did. Normally, they step on the line or something like that. But he was way out of bounds.
It wasn't even close.
Wasn't even close. But Covington, I still don't know how Covington missed that shot. I still don't know how he missed it.
I don't know. So, again, I'm trying to frame it by we're still, it's a big game. It's game 5 of the first round.
Right.
But is it a greater clutch performance overall than Jordan's game 6 at Utah in 1998?
No. Stakes are not nearly as high. Okay. But, Skip, here's the thing. We don't normally see guys, very few guys can go get you 50 and dole out 10 assists.
Yeah.
Not only was he scoring, but he was playmaking for other guys.
Yep.
That's the first time in playoff history a guy that's gotten 50-10 with 10 made threes.
Yep.
There are very few guys that can do that.
No.
I don't know how many times Steph has ever had a 50-point game with 10 assists.
Yep.
Now, we know he's had 50-point games with 10 threes.
Yep.
Hell, he just had 7 games this year with 10 made threes.
He did. So in the end, I wish they'd called the foul on the slapped hand, because then if he goes to the free throw line and makes the one to win the game, we're having an even different conversation.
You know why, Skip? Because they missed it, because they gave a bull jive call on the other one. That Austin Rivers didn't even come close to touching Dame.
No,
didn't even come close to it. And they missed. They called that one, but they missed the obvious one.
They wiggled out of it.
They did. Yep. That's why they gave him the side out, because you're like,
I agree.
You didn't call that. You called him on the shooting foul. You didn't say nothing about no side out. But, Skip, this was unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if you'll see a better performance this year in the playoff than what you saw with this, especially from shooting the basketball. Now, Kevin Durant has been efficient for the 42 on what he have, like 17, 18 shots.
Yep.
But to shoot the ball from distance, like I said, this guy ain't shooting corner threes. He's shooting from 30 feet out and making it look like a mid-range.
It's not often that I congratulate a player in a loss, but I congratulate him for that loss.
I think we finally arrived. Damian Lillard, superstar.
Really? Finally arrived?
No, you. I've been there.
Huh?
I've been there.
Oh, we'll talk about that later. That's a whole nother conversation.
There you go. See,
I'm ready to go there.
Oh my goodness.
Let's do it.
You're ready to go there? Well, I appreciate you saying that about Dame, Skip. I think that he as well will appreciate that statement from you. And we'll get back to it, but we do have to talk about what happened again last night. Shannon, we're going to keep talking about it. The Suns, they made a statement by winning Game 5 by 30 points last night, taking a 3-2 series lead over the Lakers. Anthony Davis did not play Game 5, but Chris Paul did re-aggravate his right shoulder in the win for Phoenix as the series shifts back to L.A. for Game 6. Shannon, now, who wins the Lakers-Suns series?
Skip, I picked the Lakers to lose yesterday. I just didn't think they'd lose by 30. I said the Lakers were going to win in 7. I'm going to stand by that statement. I just feel like the Lakers understand now there has to be a heightened sense of emergency. Skip, I think sometimes, we say, okay, we desperate. But are we really desperate? Are we really in the corner? Are our backs really up against the wall? Because if we lost this game, the series wasn't over. Now, your back is really up against the wall. You lose this game, you're going home. An early vacation, the defending champ goes out in the first round, and that's never good. You don't want to be one of those teams. There have been a few of those, Skip, that you win the championship one year and you get bounced the first round the next year.
Okay.
And look, I don't want to hear nothing about no injuries. The injuries are what they are. There are a lot of teams that are injured now. But at some point in time, everybody that says, no, I want an opportunity, give me my opportunity to show you what I can do. Okay, now you got your opportunity. AD ain't coming back. I don't care if AD gets out there and AD's not playing. AD's not playing anymore this series. So you need to wrap your mind around, like LeBron said. LeBron says, I'm preparing myself as if he's not going to play. Because LeBron knows he's not going to play. I don't know if he saw AD warm up, but he knows, having had that injury, he had the very injury that AD had. And he missed his first year, Skip, 18, 19 games. So AD's missed one game. So AD is 3-4, at least at bare minimum, the finals away from playing, which we know, I don't think they could get there. I know for a fact they can't get there with the way they're currently constructed. But I expect them to play better. I expect LeBron James to play an outstanding ball game. Now he's going to need someone to come along, because we saw, Skip, even after that performance that Dame had, if you don't get somebody to come along with you, because if you look at the Nuggets, what they have, Skip, they got Yoke gave you 38, and then you got Michael Porter Jr. give you 26, 27. You get Morris.
Monte Morris.
Comes off the bench and give you right. You get Austin Rivers. So no matter what you do,
Austin Rivers made a couple more big shots last night.
Big three in the corner. Big three. His turnover that Dame ended up making a three on that shot. But Skip, the thing is, he's going to have to get somebody to come along with him. Who is that somebody, Skip? I can't give you an answer. I was going to say maybe Schroeder. Hell, Schroeder gave you a blank.
He gave you an 0 for 9.
He gave you a blank.
And he's playing for a contract.
Yes.
Right?
Maybe that's what he's thinking about, Skip.
I don't know.
But I ain't worried about it. I'm taking LeBron.
Just LeBron alone, solo, versus these rising Suns.
Because you know what? Because that's the only thing I can put my money on. I can't put my money on anything else. Everything else is a prop bet. They normally give you prop bets because they're probably not going to happen. So I will put my money on the sure thing. Floyd Mayweather to beat the brakes off Paul.
Well, I'd say that's a really sure thing.
And LeBron James.
Really?
Yeah.
It's as sure as Floyd is?
We're going out guns a-blazing, Skip Bayless.
Really?
We're going down.
Okay. Here's what I propose I will do. Just for you, because I like you.
It's a bull job.
I will take Phoenix for 3 cases tomorrow night. If you will also give me a second bet of if it gets to Game 7, I got Phoenix for 5 cases in Game 7.
Hello. How you gonna take? You think you're slick, Skip Bayless? You want to profit 2 cases, or I'll give you 3. But if they lose, you give me 5 in return.
I think I got a pretty good shot tomorrow night, but I got a real good shot in Game 7.
3 and 3.
3 and 3.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do 3 and 5?
Why we won't do 5 and 3?
What's the courage of your convictions?
I got 5 cases tonight. And 5 cases on when they play Saturday night.
You mean Thursday and Saturday?
Thursday and Saturday.
Okay.
5 and 5.
5 and 5? Let me think about it. So here's the way I put this in perspective. LeBron James, in his postseason elimination games, has averaged 33.7 points a game.
Say it again.
That is otherworldly.
Yeah.
33.7. That is the highest in NBA history.
Hold up. How long the NBA been in existence? 7 months or 70 years? Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah. If we look at his productivity in just this series at age 36, nearing the end of year 18, we see that he scored against the Suns so far 24, 23, 21, 18 in Game 4, and then 25 last night. And by the way, I failed to mention this in our opening. The 25 last night was aided by 5 threes in the third quarter when you're down 30.
Yeah.
It was all-time empty calorie shooting. You always accuse Dak Prescott of empty calories. Is that not the all-time NBA empty calories?
But we got our stroke. We found our stroke.
Maybe you got your stroke, but it was the opposite of front running. It's actually back running, where you're just stat padding because they're not really defending with any intensity anymore, but you're just jacking up threes, and all of a sudden you're making threes. 5.
You might see a Dame Lillard performance in Game 6 from old GOAT.
Because he's got the hot hand now?
You might see that.
Really? 12 threes?
I'm gonna say he hit at least 7.
7?
He gonna hit at least 7 threes.
Okay, I'm gonna be nice to you.
Give me 2 cases.
I'll do 2 cases for 7.
7 threes.
Thank you. Done.
Got it.
I got that.
I'm about to get 7 cases. Oh,
no, two cases for 7.
Okay,
threes,
you
right?
hold it out. We're gonna see about tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
We got 2 cases for 7 threes.
7 or more threes.
Yep.
Right? I got that one. Okay.
10 pay double.
So my point is, averaging 33.7 in elimination games in the playoffs. And by the way, he has never lost a first-round series in his career.
Right.
A lot of that was because of the cakewalk East that he was in. But you know and I know, he just doesn't do this, right? This has never happened. But now you're facing the uphill climb of you have to do this twice.
Okay.
You have to go back to Phoenix and right the wrong of the equivalent of the Boston Massacre last night.
You remember last time we were down? We were down to Boston. You remember what we did? We had to win on home, and then we had to go back there for Game 7. What we do?
Which year are you talking about? Not 2012.
His last year in Cleveland.
Okay.
You know what he did?
Yeah.
He went to the Garden. He went home and to the Q, and he went back to the Garden.
There was no Kyrie.
And did a number on him.
Right? It was the baby Celtics, right? It was Tatum and Jaylen Brown, right? They were like 18 years old.
Don't do that,
right?
But they got the lead. They had a 3-2 lead.
They played their tails off. That might have been the best that group has ever played.
Oh, but you ain't say no when Jason Tatum dunked on LeBron. You came in here crowing about that.
Well, that was one game in the regular season, and he'd gone to Springfield during the day. Remember that for something? I don't remember. It's always something with your guy.
Don't do that.
Okay, so the point is, I'm looking at LeBron James in year 18 without Anthony Davis. He has now fallen to 1-7 against playoff teams with no AD.
Right.
Well, Phoenix is legit. I told you yesterday, I'm not sold on them, and I don't think they played their best game last night, as we just broke down.
Right.
But where was LeBron last night? Because that was no urgency, no fire, no passion, no LeBron. I don't see it. And I liked what Markieff said after the game. He said, no, Vogel said, we won't watch the tape. Markieff said, no, I want to watch the tape because it's going to show our lack of sense of urgency, of just not caring, our lack of fight. Right. That's what I saw last night or did not see.
I won't disagree with Keith. Okay. I will not disagree with it.
Okay. So the point is that How can LeBron suddenly flip a switch that he doesn't have to flip? That's all I got to say. I overestimated him last night because I was going 35, 15, and 10. Well, can he do that
He was
at
just
home?
late.
Okay.
He was just late with it. You right with the stat line. You were just a game early.
Are you sure Father Time is not tapping him? Just tapping him on one shoulder. That's what Grant Hill said last night.
Look, I'm not here to dispute what Grant said. I mean, if that's what he believes, that's what he believes. But when he comes out and he drops that performance, then what are you going to say?
Well, I'm going to say on to Game 7.
But what about Father Time?
Okay. Well, then he's got to back it up.
We're about to Heisman pose Father Time.
And the other thing Father Time is chuckling about right now is these games are coming more fast and furiously than Fast 9 is coming at you right now.
You're right.
And I'm going to watch every second of Fast 9. I've seen every second of the whole.
I already got my tickets.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the cars are the stars. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. So the point is, you better be ready because it's coming tomorrow night, and then it turns right around, and you got to play 2 nights later, 48 hours later. Well, can your body withstand it? Is the ankle still an issue? I don't know.
Right.
Honestly, honest to God above, I don't know. He doesn't seem to have
the lift.
The lift. I keep talking about he's now advertising the new mountain drink. It's called Rise. And I say, well, you need to guzzle it before the game. If it's going to make you rise, guzzle it.
Might have should have had a new product because you drank Mountain Dew.
Maybe I've ruined it for him?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm asking, is he going to flip a switch and be a completely different guy tomorrow night? He has to be, or they're going to be eliminated.
He will be.
Can he hit his elimination average of 33.7?
Guaranteed.
What's the over-under? Is that a guarantee?
Oh, well, he going to get it.
Really?
Yeah, he going to get it at least. You want another case of that?
I'll do one case that he won't go over. That's 34. So he's got to do 34
If he do
more.
33, if he does 33 or above.
I'll take 34 and above.
No, 33. Skip. There you go.
What is 33.7? What does it round to?
No. We don't do no rounding.
Well, now you're getting chicken on me.
Let me ask you a question, Skip. If I give you $1.50, you go round it, I give you $2, I give you $1.50.
Well, that's not how it works.
Okay, then, okay.
It'd be $1.51.
Okay,
right?
it's $1.51. It's $1.51. Skip, come on, Skip. What? Come on. I'm saying the man gonna give you his elimination average, whatever that is, 33 points. He gonna give you that tomorrow.
33.7. So, okay, it's got to be above 33.7. That would be 34, right?
How about this here? What's his assist or rebound?
I don't know.
So he'll give you one more rebound, one more assist. So if he's at 30, so if he's 33, 9, and 9, I win the bet. If he's 34, I win the bet.
Well, you should say if he triple doubles, right?
No, because he's close to a triple double. He doesn't get a triple double. I mean, if he get a triple double, we already know what that is.
Okay.
But Skip, you make the bet. See, you make me don't even want to bet you because you make it so. Why 33? If Father Time is touching him, as Grant Hill said, that should be no problem. You should have jumped out there with both feet on that one.
So he's averaged 22 a game in the first 5.
He gonna give you 11 more. 33.
Okay. I'll do it.
Thank
I'll
you.
do one case on 33 or more.
Thank
okay?
you.
I'm trying to help you out.
No, they didn't help me.
Because I feel sorry for you.
Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me.
But I'll also do the bet of 3 cases tomorrow night and 5 cases on Saturday.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Somebody's getting nervous.
No.
Somebody
you know what?
is oh ye of little faith.
No. We'll talk about it tomorrow, but I'm gonna get it.
Somebody is going to get a call from maybe Rich Paul, maybe
Skip.
Maverick saying, what's wrong with you?
No, Skip, I see what you're trying to do. Even swap ain't no swindle, but you're trying to swindle me.
No, I'm not trying
Yes, you are. You try to get, okay, I'll bet you 3, but when you win, you got to bet me 5. No.
I'm just trying to push you to see how much backbone you have left to support your
The mere
man.
fact that I'm betting you let you know I got backbone. I'm betting you when I'm up against it.
Yep.
Your team is healthy. My team is, we're not very good right now.
I don't think my team is all that good.
Well, I don't know
to be
about
honest.
that.
That ain't your
When you
team.
look at the
Well, it's
playoffs
not.
right now, the Lakers and Clippers are pretty much on opposite ends of this thing, and oh, how it has changed in the last week.
No mercy.
Well, after the Mavs that won the first 2 games in LA, it's been all Kawhi and the Clippers who stole the momentum and even the series at 2 games apiece. Tonight, Luka and company will attempt to keep the trend going of road teams getting all the wins in this series. Kind of interesting there. Shannon, who wins Game 5 tonight and who wins the series?
Skip, I got the Clippers winning the game. I believe Luka will be fine. He will be back to his customary stat line, somewhere around 38 and 8. Dallas just doesn't have the defenders to guard the Clippers' two best players, which are Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Hence, this is why Kawhi Leonard is going 24-32 from the field in his last two games. And with that being said, Skip, look, they have no answer for Paul George and Kawhi. Luka's going to do Luka. So tell me what Hardaway Jr. is going to do. Tell me what Finney-Smith is going to do. Tell me what Kleber's going to do. Are they going to play like they did the first two games, or are they going to play like they did the last two games? Because the last two games will get you beat. Probably get you beat now the way Clippers are rolling. It'll probably get you beat by somewhere between 10 and 15. But I believe Hardaway Jr., he likes shooting for whatever reason. Hell, everybody likes shooting in the Staples Center except the Lakers. Everybody can shoot on those rims except us. We can't shoot on them for some reason. I don't know why, but we can't.
Or the Clippers in games 1 and 2.
Clippers in game 1 and 2, right. So I'm going to say Hardaway Jr. bounces back in grand fashion and makes, I'm going to say he makes at least 6 threes tonight. I'm going to say Kleber will hit 2. Finney-Smith will have 2. And I think the game will be...
Porzingis?
As I was saying...
Well, in game 2, he made 3 out of 4. Go ahead.
Skip, he's 7'3", but plays like he's 6'3".
He does. But he can get hot.
He can get hot. I'm going to say the Clippers win 117-111.
Okay.
117-111. Because ever since they had that 30-11 lead with 4:38 skip in the first quarter, the Mavs have scored 213. I mean, the Clippers have scored 213. The Mavs have scored 159. That's 54 points. That ain't good. So 117-111, Clippers get the win.
And I believe you are attempting to jinx my Clippers at home where they have proven nothing.
How am I jinxing them?
This is what drives me a little crazy, drives me to the brink. The prevailing notion right now that this series is tied 2-2 and it's even more over than it seemed like it was on Friday night when the Mavericks were up 2-0 and 30-11, right? Early in the first quarter.
Correct.
30-11, and suddenly this thing has swung around so much that everybody is saying it's over. It's 2-2. Luka is not hurt. I'm going to knock on wood for him because I don't even like to talk about it, but I just don't believe he had any big neck issue. Maybe it's a little strange. Who knows? But he's going to be just fine. He looked just fine to me, even in game 4. So he will be real fine because he loves Staples. He will play at a very high level. I don't doubt he'll have a triple-double. I wouldn't be surprised if he went for 40 and 15 and 12 tonight. That sort of because he is highly capable of that
he's capable
line,
of those kind of stats, yeah.
And if that happens, and what you just said, that Hardaway's going to make some threes and Finney-Smith's going to make them, I think even Porzingis will make. Remember, in game 1, he shot a logo 3. He could have shot a logo 3 and just ripped it.
He did.
7'3" guy shooting a logo 3. Well, what? I can't beat that.
Well, that's the problem because he has success doing that instead of being down to 7'3" and being on the block.
Okay.
Shooting threes.
So what goes around came all the way back around, and now the Clippers are right back where they started. At home, they're 7-point favorites. The odds makers are saying, you're way better than this team.
Right.
And here we go again. It's same time next week where they're at home, and the world expects them to cakewalk tonight.
Right.
What'd you say? It's by 6 or 7? Okay,
yeah. The odds makers said 7. I said 6.
Okay,
you talking about I'm trying to jinx them?
Okay. But the point is, most people think it's over. I have to listen to Charles Barkley on TNT saying, I guarantee this is over. Guarantee. You know what? Charles is even worse at picking games than Michael Jordan is at picking players. And so you want to talk about the all-time kiss of death?
Oh, yeah.
If he guarantees it, I'm shaking in my boots right now. I do not love this. I will go ahead and pick my Clippers just because they literally lifted themselves from the basketball dead in game 3 on Friday night because I don't know how they did that. Dallas still made 23s. I told you, not in the history of the NBA had any home playoff team made 23s and lost a game. It's impossible.
Right.
And furthermore, I've never seen a line like Luka's. He makes 7 out of 13 threes. He's a 33% career three-point shooter, and he goes to the free throw line and makes 7 of 13. He has been a disaster from the free throw line. And if this game is as tight as I think it will be,
has been worse.
That's true. Well, if this game is as tight down the stretch as I believe it will be, they're going to have to think about putting him on the free throw. They're going to have to think about it. I would probably err on the side of caution because I just think he's a little better overall shooter than Ben is. So just on mechanics, he's got to be able to figure out that he could do this. And plus, their mindset is going to be back into no pressure. Like the pressure is all on the home team now. I need to see my Clippers rise and shine tonight and play the way I think they can, the way they often did at home. They had the third best home record in the West. Obviously, Utah and then Phoenix were ahead of them. But they're a pretty good home team. Except they weren't in this game. The first two games, game one, they were pretty pathetic, and they were even worse in game two.
But, Skip, if you look at the way Kawhi and PG has been playing over the last two games, especially Kawhi, Skip, I don't know if we've seen a better mid-range shooter than what we're seeing, what Kawhi is displaying currently. I mean, in game three, Skip, that game, if they don't play the way they played in game three, Skip, that game might be 50-11 at the end of the first quarter. But Kawhi and Paul George says no, no, no. And they started making shot after shot after shot. PG started making step-back threes. Kawhi was like, I'm attacking the basket because, hey, Porzingis, you soft. I ain't even worried about you blocking no shot. So I just move you out the way. And you're like, hold on, wait a minute. We were down 30-11. The score is 34-30 at the end of the first quarter. Hey, guys, we okay. We okay. And then they didn't look back. They got the lead and didn't look back.
So all I know is in the last 7 quarters of this series, the Dallas Mavericks featuring Luka Doncic have averaged 22 points per quarter. Yes, 22 points a quarter. 22 a quarter. If you do the math, that would be 88 points for a game. That's over 7 quarters they've done that. That is defensive lockdown, shutdown. I've told you all year they are capable of doing this. Over the last 6 weeks of the regular season, they rank second in defensive efficiency, and then they show up in game one like they did tank to get to the Dallas Mavericks, and that they did think that they could just sort of show up and that the Mavericks would fold at their feet. Well, the Mavericks didn't fold because the Mavericks took it personal, and they came out with fire in their eyes. Well, is that over yet? Or can the Clippers come out and play mad the way they did against Luka after he giggled and trash-talked them into oblivion in the first 2 games in their house?
Though the Clippers coming back, Skip, those are the type of games that launches a team in the direction that they want to go. To overcome what they overcame, because they had almost like 1 foot out the door. They was 30-11 down 2-0.
In the proverbial grave.
Yes. And to come back,
I thought they were flat out cooked.
It sure looked.
I told you, I thought Ballmer was about to get up and walk across the court and fire Ty Lue on the spot.
I did not think, I know Kawhi is a great player, but I didn't think he had what he had in him in game 3. Skip, he like, nope, I ain't losing. Paul George in the first half said, nope, we ain't losing.
Okay, well, they better be even times 10 that tonight, because if you lose this game and you have to go back to Dallas to try to repeat that to get home.
Because Skip, you know, them game 7, anything, it's winner take all.
It's winner take all.
so
to me, I'm not saying this is do or die, but it's you better win this one.
Okay, what you got? What's the score?
I think it's going to go down to the wire, and I think Rondo is going to finally close a deal. We're going to see playoff Rondo late, at least set up the game-winning shot, and I'm going to go Clippers by 2, a little lower scoring. I'm going to go 105-103 Clippers. And I think it's going to be a death match.
Okay. I'm going 117-111 Clippers.
Okay. Well, I don't like the 7. If I would take Dallas in 7, but I'm not going to bet against my Clippers.
Nah, it'd be 6.
Yeah.
No mercy. The Lakers were without Anthony Davis last night, and LeBron couldn't keep LA in the game. The Suns would end up routing the Lakers, going up by 30 at halftime and holding on to win 115-85. LeBron finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in the loss. And LeBron only had 11 points from his other starters, but he also finished with a game worst plus-minus of minus 24. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, this one not easy for one guy over there to talk about, but in your opinion, what % of the blame does LeBron deserve for this blowout for the Lakers, this loss?
Yeah, you said the right word, blowout, because for the loss, I put the lion's share of the blame on Anthony Davis's injury. I don't blame AD. He can't help it if he's hurt. But the loss, that's the number one reason they lost. They didn't have AD. But it didn't have to be that way, right? It didn't have to be a blowout, as you said. For them to lose in that fashion, obviously blame is all over the place. Let me start here. Dennis Schroeder. I need you to be the second scorer. I need you to step up and give me 18 to 24 because AD's out. And you went 0 for 9. All right, and got outplayed by Cam Payne, a journeyman backup who looked like an all-star at points last night. KCP, I know it was your first game back, but 0 for 4 from 3 or whatever he went. You didn't hit any shots. Yeah, 0 for 1. Didn't hit any shots. So there's a lot of blame to go around. But, of course, LeBron's a superstar. If they would have won, LeBron, even with 25 and 10, would have got the lion's share of the credit. So he's got to get most of the blame. I'm going to go 6.5, 6.5. Now, early on, I thought LeBron started aggressively. And I'm thinking, I didn't expect him to come out even that aggressive. He was shooting a lot early in the game, and it looked like he wanted to have a big game. But maybe the worst thing that happened to LeBron was he hit that 3 with like a minute and a half into the game. I think it was the 10-16 mark of the first quarter. And I felt like I could almost see the wheels turning in his head like, I'm hot. It's one of those nights, right? Because LeBron's not a great shooter, but he's a streaky shooter. And he may have thought, okay, I'm hot from 3 tonight because the next trip down, he took another 3. It was a 31-footer. He missed. And then a few minutes later, he took another 3. And I was like, he's settling too much for the 3. Obviously, he took 10 of his 19 shots were from 3. And guys, look, I said it yesterday. I'm not expecting the 45 and 15 like he did in Boston back in 2012. I'm not expecting the 51, 8 and 8 like he did at Golden State in 2018. Those days are over. Those days are over. LeBron's 36. He's in his 18th year. No player ever in the history of all the basketball players in the world has ever carried a team to great heights in his 18th year. So we are seeing some age. Now, the injury, okay, that's maybe some bit of a factor, but we're seeing age. When guys age, Michael Jordan did it. What'd he do? Shoot more jump shots. Go into the post, shoot the turnaround J, the fadeaway J. Kobe Bryant, shoot more jump shots. 40% of LeBron's shots going into last night in the playoffs were three-pointers. 40% for a guy that's not a great three-point shooter. And last night, obviously, more than 50%. So this is age. Does it mean LeBron can't win at all going forward? No, because he's obviously still a very good player and still a star-level player, superstar-level player. He just can't carry you by himself. And Kareem could still win when he was older, but not by himself. He needed magic. You know, and it happens to everybody. So that's why he needs AD. Because he can still, as you saw, put up numbers. He can still run the offense. He can still, go and drive to the basket in spurts. Game 3, remember, he was attacking Jay Crowder, going to the hole. But he really only did it for the third quarter. First half, people were saying he was passive. So he can only do it in spurts now. So going forward, they need to have more around LeBron. And AD, as I thought would happen this year, it obviously didn't. I thought this would be the passing of the torch where AD became the number 1 guy and LeBron was the number 2. AD wasn't ready to take it. But that's where LeBron is at this point in his career. And the Lakers need to understand that as they move forward and try to win in the future.
I can't say I disagree with anything that you said, but I was a Romanian judge earlier, Chris. I gave him 8.75 out of 10 blame for this. Because like you said, when things go well, LeBron gets the credit. So when things go bad, I'm going to give him the lion's share of the blame, and rightfully so. It's on him. He's the big. Look, some guys might be off key, but if you're the band leader, hey, you got to make sure you get them back on key. And so the harmony, so the thing goes off without a hitch. That didn't happen last night. And as you mentioned, LeBron got off, got to the layup, the up and under layup, and then he hits the three, and I'm like, okay, I'm liking this. First 2 shots go in. Oh, the basket about to open up. And it closed off for everybody from that point on. You remember Keith hit his first shot, the 3 goes in. And I'm like, okay. But then it seemed like the basket got smaller and smaller, and they couldn't make shots. They started turning the ball over. When you turn the ball over and you can't make shots, this is what you get, a 21-2 run. Chris, you remember we talked about it all year. They go through these lulls, these long scoring droughts, where they don't score any points, but they're turning the ball over. Well, if you have a lead and you go through a lull in scoring and you turn the ball over, you allow a team to get back into the ball game. If you go into these droughts and you're behind, you fall farther behind. You're down by 9, and in the blink of an eye, you're down by 30. That's what happens. So they might need to look for even a third option, like what the Nets have, Skip. You know, you got Kyrie, James Harden, and KD. I don't know where they can get that level of player from. But they got to get somebody that they can count and say, you know what? I already got it wrote down, Chris. I already got it wrote down. He's going to give me 20 tonight. Because right now, they don't have anybody on their roster outside of AD and LeBron that you can pencil in and say, going to give me 20. I have no idea.
Remember, the Nets can pencil in Joe Harris. He'll give you 5 threes.
Yes.
You don't. You're a terrible 3-point shooting team.
And I can't pencil in Schroeder. I can't pencil in Kuzma. Because I don't know what the hell I'm going to get from night to night from any of those guys. I don't know what I'm going to get from night to night from any of the guys other than AD and LeBron. And therein lies the problem. This is unacceptable. This was all-time worst performance. I'm disappointed. I'm disgusted. But you know what? I took great solace. There was another game on that I was able to watch Damian Lillard do what he does.
So you're trying to shift the focus.
I ain't shift no focus. I already told you what happened. 8.75.
Okay. So my friend Chris Broussard, bottom line was, we are seeing some age in LeBron. Chris and Shannon, last night was the first night in all my years of carefully watching LeBron basketball games that I finally sat back at halftime and I said, wait a second, is Grant Hill right? Because he suggested in the middle of the second quarter, Father Time is tapping LeBron on the shoulder. It was so shocking what I didn't see from LeBron after that early flurry. And to both your points, he goes backdoor cut, layup, reverse layup, and then he makes the 3 at 10:16 left in the first quarter. They're up 8-3, and I'm thinking, here he comes. I thought he was going to go 35, 15, and 10. Everybody on the show had him with the triple-double, right? Big 30-plus points. Yeah. And I thought,
over 30 points.
Yeah, he's on his way. Sit back and enjoy the show, because I'm still not completely sold on Phoenix, and I'm a little less sold when Chris Paul has another, I think it's a stinger. I don't know. He got a bolt of pain down his right arm again. Then he shook it off this time and made the 2 free throws. Will he play on Thursday? Yeah, he'll play. He'll play. Will he be limited? He may be a little limited as a shooter and a passer. But the point is, at the 10:16 mark, all the way down until halftime, LeBron James went 1 of 8, 0 for 2 from 3, and didn't shoot a free throw. And more importantly, I predicted yesterday that he needed to get to the free throw line 20 times, and I settled, because Shannon played devil's advocate, I said, okay, 17 shots. I need 17 foul shots for LeBron. He shot 0. He's been averaging, in this series, he came in averaging 4 free throw attempts a game.
Yeah.
In his career, he's averaged 9 free throw attempts per playoff game.
So he hadn't shot 20 attempts total in the 5 games.
Not even total. And he zonked last night. He put up the big goose egg. He never got to the free throw line. And I'm saying that's just wrong, because he looked strangely uninspired to the point of being unplugged. I saw no fire. I saw no urgency, and the team that wanted to feed off his fire and urgency couldn't go along because there was no ride to go along for. And everybody shrank in LeBron's shadow. And to all your points, you can condemn all the rest of them because he got little to no help. He got a little Kuzma help. He got a little bit of Drummond help.
Yeah. Oh, Drum.
Okay, Drum, he's it. Yeah, well, Drum better be AD tomorrow night, right?
I don't know about all that.
Okay. Well, Chris, so my conclusion is this the first sign? Because I'm talking about the first sign where you say, uh-oh, he's starting to hit the age wall.
Honestly, I think the first sign, I would go back to 2019 when he couldn't carry those guys even to the playoffs. Now, I get it. He got hurt. All right, he missed a lot of games. But remember when he said, I'm activating playoff mode.
Yep.
Right? And they went 8-13. And then he just, the season was over and he sat out a lot of games. So that's when you started to see, okay, LeBron can't carry these mediocre guys like he used to be able to. Now, he can still play very well. And he's so good, he's obviously going to put up numbers. I mean, even last night, he ends up with, you just look at the box score and you didn't know that, you didn't see the game. And you think, well, at least he showed up, right? But so he'll put up numbers. But, I think last night was just another sign. But I've been seeing it because, again, too many jump shots, settling more for the three, doesn't drive as much. And even though he got to the free throw line more than he did last night or this playoff series during the regular season, your free throw attempts start to go down as you get older. And so I've been seeing all of that with LeBron. But it's fine if you have a healthy AD because he's still a top-level player, but he's just not what he used to be. So, yeah, Skip, and Shannon's right. I don't know where they find the guy. Obviously, you love to get a Bradley Beal, but I don't know that, that's probably impossible. But they got to get a third guy because AD's just not reliable enough. I mean, last year was more the aberration as far as his health than this year. This year was more kind of like
the norm.
Yeah, that's kind of how AD is.
Okay,
yeah.
But I remind both of you, early in this regular season just passed, there was a stretch when LeBron was being proclaimed the MVP frontrunner. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't seeing any age then.
I think the thing is, Skip, plus last night you have to look at him now. He played almost 12. He played almost the whole first quarter, where he normally plays 7 minutes. And then he played basically the entire second quarter. So you're asking him to play 20. He can't do that. When LeBron was 24, Chris, you remember early in his career, he could play 42 minutes. He could play 40 minutes. Right. But youth. But as you get to be 36, you can't play 38, 39 minutes. And these games come quick. The season came quick. The games, basically you're playing 3 games a week. Back to back to back. And it's catching up. I believe next year, look, obviously he's going to be 37. But I think once we get back to a normal schedule, AD's there and he doesn't have to do, because like you said, Chris, I agree with you. The days of LeBron James basically going and getting 30 every game and willing a team no matter who the guys are. Me, you, Chris, Jenny, 2 producers, and LeBron getting us close to winning or winning a game. I don't know if he can do that. He can do that consistently because he does need AD, but I still believe he needs a third guy.
Okay, so one more time, just to close this up. I would like to show our viewers those 3 drives, 1 in the first quarter and 2 in the second quarter, in which LeBron, to me, just looked like an aging player. If we could just see the drives. These are his basket attacks. That's kind of pathetic. Didn't get a foul call. Then this one, I thought he'd get the foul call, and they gave Torrey Craig a flat-out block on it. And then the third one, he kind of swoops around and shoots a little baby hook, and it hits nothing but backboard. Well, that's not that guy. This is the greatest attacker of the basket I've ever seen, 6'9", 265. I
think the thing is he was in a great rhythm. He got hurt, lost some of his conditioning. I believe you'll see the LeBron that we were seeing early last year, Chris. I believe we'll see that LeBron again. I'm telling you, when you're an older player and you get injured, it's hard to come back and pick right up where you left off. And the games come quicker. But like I said, I believe once he gets this season behind him and he gets able to get back, refocus, take a month off, get away from it. Don't even pick up a basketball. Don't even say basketball. Don't even look at a basketball. As a matter of fact, don't even watch the games. Decompress, go back into the lab and come back.
Okay, well, you're talking like it's about to be over.
They're not, Skip, I believe they're going to beat Phoenix, but they're not going any further than that.
No?
No.
No mercy. Game time is here.
Lillard for the win.
When he's facing you up, you bet not.
It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard, good! Good!
Here he comes again.
A deep 3. Oh!
This was unbelievable.
Damian Lillard from way downtown.
Damian Lillard put on an all-time performance last night in a double overtime loss. Yes, it was a loss against the Nuggets, but Lillard forced both overtimes with three-pointers and finished the game with a playoff record 12 made three-pointers. He is also the first player to ever have 55 points and 10 assists in a playoff game. How about that? Shannon, is Dame all-time clutch?
Yeah, he is. And it's good when it's all said and done. He's going to be top 5 if he's not already there. In this situation of guys currently playing, there are not very many guys that you're going to want the ball in his hands other than Dame. Maybe Steph, KD, Kyrie, and LeBron are the only guys, and you notice all the guys that can go get their own shot. Skip, I mean, he has 7 game-tying or go-ahead shots in the final minutes of a ball game. What he did last night, to force overtime, to force the second overtime. We've seen him in the series in Houston. We've seen him in the series in OKC. Very few guys can say, okay, yeah, I've hit a game-winning shot in the playoffs, but have you hit a game-winning shot that ended the series? We saw what he did against Chicago this year off the jump ball. He gets the ball and fires it from 30 feet. He wins the game. Skip, he's as clutch as they get. He's as clutch a player of his generation as there is. And we can't just tie it to, well, he would be clutcher if he'd won a title. If they don't win a title, if Portland Trailblazers are not fortunate enough to win a title in the Dame Lillard era, it's not going to be because Dame Lillard did not leave it out there. He's as good a player as we have in the league, and he's all-time clutch. So for me, when it's all said and done, he will be a top 5 clutch performer. Whether or not he has the championships to go along with that. Skip, that's what made Michael, people say Mike got 6 titles. Kobe got 5 titles. If he were able to get a title, we're really going to be able to put him in there. But, Skip, I don't know if there ever been 3 or 4 guys in the history of the game that I would want the ball in their hand taking the last shot over the name. There are only a handful of guys that I would say, okay, I'm not mad. If you let Larry Bird shoot it, you let Kobe. Now, from distance, only Steph Curry. I want the ball in his hand from distance. Only Steph. But as far as any shot, Skip, he's going to be right there when it's all said and done.
So I have already proclaimed what Damian Lillard did last night to Denver, at Denver, the greatest long-distance clutch shooting performance I have ever witnessed via television. And yet, I, for one, am not going to be prisoner of that electrifying moment. And it was all-time electrifying. But if you look at the big picture, it's hard for me to go all-time clutch because, to your first point, since Damian Lillard entered this league in 2012, it's a pretty long time. You call him a kid, but it's 2012. It's now 2021.
Right.
So, right?
So what's he, like 29?
Kid to you.
Yeah, shit.
Okay.
Sorry, my son's that age, Skip.
All right.
So you're a kid.
Since he entered the league, 2012, Damian Lillard has the worst winning percentage of any player in the league overall. It's 367.367 winning percentage. Okay, so let's keep that in perspective, and then let's go to round 1, 2018. It wasn't that long ago against the AD Boogie Cousins, New Orleans Pelicans. He got swept in the first round, and he was just pathetic in every game. The 3 ball, he shot 30% in those 4 games, 9 of 30. In game 1, they had a chance to win, and he had a little running banker from 6 or 8 feet at the end of the game, and he missed it. Okay, so there's number 1. Then we go to the all-time bad, because I picked them. I thought they could upset and shock the Golden State Warriors with no KD. Remember, he was out, and this is the Western Conference Finals in 2019. Just go look at what he did in the fourth quarter and overtime of those 4 games. They got swept again, and they had chances late in all 4 games. I dare anybody to go look it up and focus on what he did and did not do, because in the fourth quarters, he shot 31% from the floor, which is horrible. It was 8 of 26. And from 3, he shot 5 of 17. And he had big chances. In game 2, he had a late shot to win it, and he missed it. Game 3, they're only down 3 going to the fourth quarter, and he just disappeared. Then game 4, he had 2 chances because it went to overtime. He had a shot at the end of regulation and a late shot in overtime to win it, and could not close either deal.
But Skip, all greats have struggled at some point in time. You remember in the Larry Bird first finals, he had 2 games in which he scored 8 points. Cornbread Maxwell, Cedric Cornbread Maxwell was the Finals MVP. Mm-hmm. Larry Bird later became, we think of clutch.
What was that for Larry? What year was that?
That was his third year. Because Magic won the title, well, second year.
Second year.
Yeah. Magic
okay.
won the title.
So it was second year in the league.
So he struggled.
Right.
But Skip, the shots, but I think he's more than made up for it. There have been, how many guys can say I've had game-winning, series-ending shots on two different occasions?
He had big ones, and he had the one against Russ in Oklahoma City, but it was first round against a team with no KD,
Skip,
obviously.
you do remember, like, Michael Jordan, his first playoffs, who did he beat? In the first round, Cleveland. We celebrated that.
Craig Elo.
Yes. So we got to give Dame some credit.
What happened against your Lakers in the first round in the bubble last year? Did Dame rise and shine?
Yeah, that was the 8th seed.
Okay, but he didn't. He was mostly nowhere to be found in that series. He had little flurries here and there, but it wasn't what you're talking about. No, it wasn't like last night.
Only you and Charles Barkley expected Portland to beat the #1 seeded Lakers.
I just thought they could give them some
They did.
Run.
They won the first game.
Make them sweat a little bit. They did win the first game.
They made them sweat the game, too.
And then if I can backtrack just slightly to the end of the regular season in the bubble. Do you remember what happened against the Clippers reserves in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
We're winding down the regular season before the playoffs start. And late in that game against the reserves, Dame's still in the game. And with 18 seconds left, they're down one and he has 2 free throws. If we could see these 2 free throws. Ooh, didn't even get it up on top of the rim on that one. And then he, that's just not good. And look at the Clippers. They are shaming him. They're doing Dame time,
Skip,
right?
Here's a guy that's
my point to you was when that happened, you don't try to shame somebody that they have respect for. They're not going to do it. Look, if I go to the top, Michael Jordan, nobody ever did that. He missed some free throws here and there, but nobody ever did that to him because they're afraid of it.
But Skip, it's a different time now. I mean, guys now, that's a part of it. But I look at what Dame has done over his career. How many guys that's currently playing, you want the ball in their hands with the clock winding down, more so than you want Dame Dollar have it in his hand?
I want KD to have the ball. I just believe in him. I trust him more than for one reason, he's 7 feet tall and he's going to get whatever shot he wants.
Well, we should have more game winners than what he has.
Well, he's been pretty good against LeBron James in the finals. I saw it twice in game 3s in your house.
You only named 2 games. KD's been in the league 14 years.
Okay, but those are 2 finals games. Dame's never even come close to playing in a final.
Well, I would like to think if Dame was playing along Steph Curry and Clay and Draymond, I would like his chances.
They went and recruited KD to come save them.
Skip. Alabama goes out and recruits players. So does Clemson. Okay, he went there. It benefited both. You recruited me because you know what I represent. I went there because I know what you can deliver from me. So don't make it seem like it was just transactional, that KD was, that the Golden State Warriors the only one that benefited something.
Who was the best player on the team? It was KD.
Skip.
The finals MVP back-to-back was KD.
Skip, you make it seem, I read a quote, and maybe I'm wrong, but KD said that he went to Golden State because they felt like the underdog. To him, they felt like the underdog. A team that had gone 67-15, 73-9, with a 2-time MVP. The last time he won it unanimous, and KD said they were the underdogs.
Okay. For the record, what was Damian Lillard in Game 4 back in Portland in this series?
He didn't play. Skip.
He shot 1 for 10.
Skip.
It comes and it goes.
Skip,
he had a magical night.
You got to stop this. Skip, you got to stop this notion. Kobe Bryant did not score 30 points every single playoff game. Michael Jordan didn't score 30 points every single playoff game. You got to stop this notion.
Did they ever have a 1 for 10 except for Kobe's year 8? You know, when he's 18 years old.
No, Skip. Kobe has had some bad playoff games.
Kobe's 1 for 10's pretty bad. And by the way, they won.
Oh, you remember when didn't they have a 3-1 lead against Phoenix? In one game, he wouldn't shoot.
Well, now that's a whole nother issue.
But that wasn't the issue.
He couldn't shoot. He just wouldn't shoot.
But the thing is that you pick a game here or a game there, and
I picked like 12 games.
Okay, what about the 500 games that he's been spectacular?
Lowest winning percentage of any player in the league is Damian Lillard.
I would have loved to see had LaMarcus Aldridge stayed there, and Marcus said he should have did a better job of trying to communicate That would have been a great situation. I would have liked to seen had CJ, Dame, and LaMarcus Aldridge been able to grow together. But that's not what LaMarcus wanted. He wanted to move on, okay? We can't go back in time. But, Skip, to say this kid isn't all-time clutch or he's as clutch as anybody in his generation is just not true. You can't because you haven't mentioned that game against OKC. He sent Houston home. It's not like, Skip, he's lost. How many games has he lost as the higher seed? One to New Orleans. That's one time as the higher seed he's lost.
Got swept.
Yes, he lost. More times than not, he's the lower seed. And for him to even beat, I mean, you know, this is a 3-6 matchup. That was a 1-8 matchup. That was a 1-8 matchup which he lost to Golden State. He was the lower seed against Houston, and he sent him home.
Well, maybe your Lakers will get to see him in the next round.
So now all of a sudden, now he'll be close. See, that's all you root for.
Yep.
You just want somebody to beat LeBron.
No, well, I don't want Phoenix to beat LeBron, but they're about to.
No, they're not. No, they're not. You know what? I want you to have that same energy on Friday.
You have no betting energy at all.
I got betting. I don't bet. I already got 4 cases bet. 33 points and 7 threes.
Prop bets.
Yeah, I know what.
7 threes?
Yeah.
7 threes. You should have gave me 5 cases on 7 threes alone. LeBron, he's the worst three-point shooter.
No mercy.
Saturday on Fox, it's one of the greatest rivalries in sports as the Red Sox take on the Yankees, or the Dodgers battle the Braves, or Cubs-Giants. Saturday, 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So check some local listings for the game in your area. Well, the Lakers were without Anthony Davis last night, and LeBron couldn't keep LA in the game. The Suns would end up routing the Lakers, going up by 30 at halftime, holding on to win 115-85. LeBron finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists in the loss. LeBron only had 11 points from his other starters, but he also finished with a game worst plus-minus of -24. Fox Sports NBA analyst Steven Jackson joining us now. Steven, it has been too long, and I got to ask you, for a letter grade for LeBron last night, what do you got?
First, it's good to see y'all. Skip, Shannon, I love y'all. Jenny, you know I got a lot of love for you. It's always good seeing your face. You are definitely
Likewise.
I'm glad you're back, nephew.
Glad to be back. I give it a C+. He has no help. He has no help at all. And then again, the bigger issue for me is Vogel. AD goes down, you know he's injury prone, but you mistreat Montrezl Harrell early in the season. Now you need him. Now you don't know where his mental is. You should have treated him like the 6th man he was when he signed with you. The 6th man of the year he was when you signed you. Now you need him. Now he don't know what his role is. And you putting your confidence in guys like Wesley Matthews and guys who are not proven to step up in these moments. So LeBron is doing his job, but AD is always injury prone. You should have known you need to keep guys like AD and bring another guy in besides Marcus Gasol, because Marcus Gasol can't guard in the pick and roll. It's just that. He's one of the smartest big men ever, but he cannot play today in the pick and roll game. But the way they treated Montrezl Harrell is coming back to haunt him now, because now they need him.
I agree. I gave him a C- because he did. The thing is that what we needed, and you're right, he doesn't have help. And the days, and I said this earlier, Stack, the days of LeBron giving you 40 and 15, and anybody, me, you, at your age right now, and Jenny and Skip, and we making the game with somebody, those days are over. He needs AD. He needs another third option also, someone that you can pencil in, that you can go to lay your head on your pillow at night and says, okay, I know he's going to give me 20 to 25 tomorrow. Like they have in Brooklyn. Like they have in Milwaukee. You see what Milwaukee did? They went and got a third option. Holiday. You see what the Nets did? They had Kyrie, elite scorer. KD, elite scorer. Nah, we need more. Let's go get James Harden. And I think moving forward, that's what the Lakers are going to have to do. I don't know where they get that guy from, Stack, but I believe that's what they're going to have to do. But LeBron is going to have to be, in order for them to even make this a game, and I still believe they're going to win this series, LeBron is going to have to turn back the clock, the hands of time, for 2 more games. I don't believe they can go past this series, but I do believe he can summon up the strength one more time and to get it done in this situation.
And your letter grade for last night would be a
C-.
That's all?
That's it.
Well, you gave him 85% of the blame, but only a C-.
Yeah, C-. Because here's the thing, Skip. If he'd have gave me those if he'd have gave me those 17 he gave me in the third, if he had given me those in the first or the second, I don't believe it would have been a blowout. It would have been a close of a ball game, and maybe they like, okay, we still here. It was like once that thing got to like 15, it's like, all right, we'll see y'all game 6.
Okay, first of all, Stephen Jackson, it is good to hear your voice. Welcome back. Thank you.
Man, thanks, Skip.
Second of all, thank you for bringing up Montrezl Harrell because it's the damnedest thing I've ever seen. I don't know what's happened. He was lost in the doghouse until that game was way out of hand last night. And I just like his effort and energy. I think he comes in and just wreaks havoc. It may be good havoc, it may be bad havoc, but he wreaks havoc.
Right.
Something has gone haywire off the court in the locker room. I don't know. The Clippers had issues with him, but he was challenging the lack of leadership on Kawhi and Paul George's part, and he was probably right to challenge it. But it fell all apart. He still thought he was going to go back to the Clippers, and all of a sudden, wait a second, they don't want me. I guess I'll be a Laker. He doesn't play great defense, but this is the time when if I'm Vogel, I'm going to play him a lot in this game because you need somebody to go in with energy and effort.
I think the biggest thing is why they didn't play him this was because he's so overwhelmed. Ayton is a big. People don't realize how big Ayton is. Ayton is 7 foot tall, 270. So you need somebody with a body size to bang on him, and that's what Drummond. But the thing is, and you bring in Marc Gasol. Yes, Marc Gasol has basketball IQ. Yes, he can shoot the three, but everybody just puts him in the high pick and roll, and what does he do? Either he gives the wide open three or he fouls somebody or they get a layup. He can't play the high pick and roll, so he gives you nothing, and he can't shoot the three good enough. He's not that good. If he's giving you 15 points a night, well, you got to play him, Stack. But he's giving you 3 to 5 points a night. It's not worth it what he's giving up on the defensive end for his offense.
But that's one reason why AD stays hurt, because they're not taking advantage of Montrez. They making AD do all the dirty work and try to carry the load. You're supposed to have Montrez there to do the dirty work, to get the rebounds, to do the banging, to be the tough guy. This team is not tough. They're a soft team. Montrez come in with the addition of him and AD together. I guarantee this will be a better team. But you know, with AD being injured and the way he was stepping before the game, I don't see him coming back and being effective.
No.
You can't be stepping gingerly with a groin and then 2 days later come out and think you're going to be effective in the playoffs. It just don't work like that.
Okay, so now my letter grade is a little more objective than you guys' letter grade. I got to go all the way to F as in epic fail. Fail, epic fail. I thought this was going to be his night. I thought this was his moment, his late career moment to say, watch this, I still got it. And I saw a flash of that early, and they're up 8-3 with 10:16 left. And from that moment until halftime, he goes 1 of 8, 0 for 2 from 3, and does not get to the free throw line and doesn't get there the whole game. I had him shooting 17 free throws. He shot 0. There's just something wrong with that. I thought he would put his head down and run through the brick wall and get to the free throw line.
Well, we got extra assignment. We about to get an A. Game 6.
Well, it's up to him to pave the way. And I agree. He had 0 help last night, effectively.
Schroeder.
Okay, 0 for 9 for Schroeder.
KCP.
But again, I thought they would go along for LeBron's ride, but he was going to have to drive the Ferrari last night, and he drove it right off the road. And he was uninterested. He was disengaged. He had no passion, no fire, no energy. I've never seen anything quite like it. And, Stephen, I had to start wondering, is Father Time tapping him on the right shoulder for once? That's what Grant Hill said on the telecast.
Well, Father Time is definitely undefeated. And a lot of pressure is on LeBron, especially with AD out. But you can't play 20-plus minutes as an NBA player and not affect the stat sheet in no type of way. Right. I'm sorry. The guys on this team did nothing. You have to know, going to Phoenix with the way they playing, they going to hit shots. They going to make runs. But you have to go out and play the best game you can play on the road to get a win, especially defensively. You can't play the way they play. And like I said, LeBron is doing all he can, but his supporting cast, they didn't show up at all. They should have stayed on the bus, Skip.
I'm going to tell you what this reminds me of. This is Tom Brady. You remember when Tom Brady was young, he could do more with less. As Tom Brady started to age, we didn't see that same impact. So what did Tom Brady do, Stack Jack? He went down to Tampa. He got with Chris Godwin. He went with Mike Evans. He got AB. He got Gronk. He got O.J. Howard. He got Cameron Brate. A solid offensive line. A top-notch defense. And there you have it. As we start to age, we do need more help.
Tom Brady is 8 years older than LeBron James, and he just won his 7th Super Bowl.
Skip. But Skip, let me ask you a question.
They both goats.
At 18 years, we've never seen a player perform like this because what you're asking him to do, not just on one end, but on both ends of the court, and to play at this elite level, night in and night out, short in the offseason, Stacks, you know, playing back-to-backs, playing 3 games a week. Come on, Skip.
He's only 36.
36. Stacks, would you please tell Skip 36?
Stacks can still play right now.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, Skip. I'm done. I'm shot. My body. I need all kind of surgeries. To be 36 and carry the load he's carried for 17 years, it definitely take a toll on him. But Skip, I'm not making no excuses. You still playing in the game. You still the king. There's a lot is expected from you.
Yes.
You have to go out there and do the job. Nobody's making excuses for LeBron because I'm not. Nope. And I actually, the night Anthony Davis went down, Shannon and Skip, I sent him a DM, IG, and I told him, I say, you've done the impossible so many times. I'm a fan, bro, and I always gonna support you. Now is the time for you to be the king again because he has to be with AD down. I'm gonna continue to support him because to whom much is given, much is required. Yep. At the same time, his supporting cast is not what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Stack, there's no question. You say you can't play anymore, but you could have done what Schroeder did. You could have went out there for 25 minutes and gave no points.
Hey, I could have done what Schroeder did.
I could go to the NBA right now, Skip. If I play 25 minutes, I guarantee you I have at least 10 points.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Schroeder, me and Schroeder had the same amount of points.
Yep.
The only thing, my plus minus what as low as he is. We had the same amount of points, and I was at my place.
Oh, it's not a good
So,
sign.
Steven, Shannon says that LeBron's going to suck it up and give us one last hurrah and win games 6 and 7. Do you agree?
I definitely agree. I'm never going against the king, ever in life.
Really? Even though your head is telling you one thing versus your heart?
Well, Game 6, I think he's going to be the king. I'm not confident in winning the series, especially without AD, and especially with the way Vogel's coaching and the lineups. The lineups look terrible. Remember I said this before. J. Kidd needs to get in that front seat and help make some decisions right now because the way Vogel is with these lineups is making the team look bad. But I'm not confident in winning the series, but I see LeBron having a big Game 6.
No mercy, and I won't back down.
Without Anthony Davis last night, the Lakers were never competitive with the Suns in the 30-point blowout loss. LeBron finished with just 24 points and Game War's plus-minus of minus 24. And as a team, the Lakers managed to shoot only 34% from the floor in AD's absence. So, Shannon, did last night prove AD is more valuable than LeBron?
No, it didn't prove that. The Lakers, even though LeBron is still the more important of the players, even though they play through AD a lot more than they play through LeBron. But, Skip, you got to remember now, when AD was in New Orleans, what was he? You tell me all the time he couldn't get that New Orleans teams. You talk about how they got, they weren't doing anything. How many, he went to the playoff only twice in 8 seasons. Mm-hmm. He's 5-8 in the playoffs. Last year, his first year in LA, he goes and wins the championship. Mm. So, look, they need another option. I'm not going to minimize AD because I still believe. But something is wrong with either his training or his nutrition that he can't seem to stay healthy because he's a relatively young man, Skip. I mean, AD is not like, 33, 34 years of age. AD's still in his 20s, and his body shouldn't break down like this. Yep. So maybe something biomechanically is going on here. Maybe it's his nutrition. Maybe it's the way he trains. But maybe he needs to get stripped down, broken down, and looked at from an inside and outside perspective, and says, okay, this is why it's causing these freak injuries with your knee, your ankle, and groin and things of that nature, because something is not computing. But no, for me, LeBron James is still the most valuable of the player, but they go hand in hand.
I think you got to give up the ghost on this one.
No.
I think it's time to proclaim AD the most valuable Laker because he's easily the most impactful Laker. I agree with you. What do I call AD? It stands for always dinged. Something's wrong there. But he's always been like that. He's just been a little fragile. But when he's right, when he's healthy and LeBron's healthy, he just has more impact than LeBron can have right now.
Oh, no.
Well, look at games 2 and 3 of this series, this series. He goes 34, 10, and 7 in game 2, 34, 11, and didn't have an assist, but 34 and 11 in the game 3. Those are big Laker wins when he outshined LeBron in both games.
But hold up. Prior to AD getting hurt this year, who was the better? LeBron was averaging more points, averaging more assists, had the same amount of rebounds. Before the injury happened between both players.
Barely. Who
was the better?
Okay, but once AD did go out, once LeBron had to play without AD versus playoff teams, playoff-bound teams, or in this series, obviously last night, a playoff team. Well, LeBron is now 1-7 this year versus playoff teams with no AD. Well, that tells me a lot. So the flip of that would be if it were AD with Schroeder playing the point, would they be a better team? I think they'd be a little better team because I think he would still terrorize Ayton and the Phoenix front line because I don't think they could deal with him.
But, okay, so LeBron is 1-7. What's AD against playoff teams without LeBron? They beat, who did they beat? They beat Suns and they beat the Nuggets. So he's 2 in whatever.
They did, but those are 2 pretty big wins.
But they lost to the Knicks.
Pretty impressive.
Did they lose to the Knicks?
They did.
Okay.
But he has 2 big ones late in the year with no LeBron.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. In the end, I think he's grown up right before your very eyes. I think mentally he's stronger than he ever was.
So let me get this right. If I take LeBron away, AD and this roster would make the playoffs. They would go far.
I think they'd definitely make the playoffs, and I think they'd win the first round of the playoffs. But even with LeBron, are they going to get out of the first round? I don't think so.
Hold on. You just told me Anthony Davis with Caruso, Gasol, Kuzma, Matthews, Tucker, McLemore, Harrell, Kenny, Schroeder, KCP, Drummond, and Morris.
Yep.
Would make the playoffs?
Yep.
It would win this.
Did you see what he did in those late 2 games you just talked about? Those are big wins. He beat Phoenix and Denver by himself. I'll take that.
Well, you've been talking to Snoop. Snoop sent you a package.
Oh, yeah. Did you see?
He got it.
Did you see what he had to say?
That's your stash, not mine.
No mercy.
Guys, Luka Doncic's neck injury has reportedly improved as he looks to bounce back from his 19-point performance in a Game 4 loss. The series shifts back to LA tonight, where the road team has won every game so far. Luka averaged 35 points in games 1 and 2 in Staples. So, Shannon, what's Luka's stat line tonight, and what's the final score? What do you got?
Well, I believe he'll be, Skip, he's basically a career triple-double guy against the Clippers. He's 32, 10, and 10, something of that nature. I believe he'll be around that again. I'm going to say he has 33, 11, and 8. The question is, I'm not concerned about Luka. It's Hardaway Jr., it's Finney-Smith, it's Kleber, it's Porzingis. Can they give them something?
And the score will be?
I'm going to say 117-111 Clippers.
Okay. I believe that tonight Luka will be a pain in my neck.
I hope so.
Yeah, and I believe that Luka, they'll run 7 or 8 different defenders at him, and it won't help. I believe he'll go 38, 12, and 12, and I believe this will still be a virtual must-win at home for the Clippers, and I believe Rondo sets up Marcus Morris for the game-winning shot, 105-103, home team Clippers, and I say Clippers in 7, not in 6, but in 7.
Yeah, it's going to be 7 because y'all going to lose this game, and then y'all will win this one. They'll win back in Dallas, and then they go 7.
There you go.
That's how you guys feel about it.
But we will survive.
They're going to score. If he gets 38, 12, and 12, he's going to score more than 103
Shannon,
points.
I know today was a bit challenging for you to talk about your Lakers, but you survived. Well done, guys. Skip Shannon. We will go there tomorrow. The Herd is on now. Have a great day, guys.